Hi everybody, Timmy coming at you one more time here. Alright, today what I want to do is I want to try to explain to you how arterial blood, systemic arterial blood, knows where to go. Alright, let's see. First of all, look, we know that systemic arteries, they carry oxygenated blood from the left ventricle down to the cells of the body. We also know that those systemic arteries are under pressure, and what develops that pressure is the left ventricle contracting, so that's systolic blood pressure. All right, now let's look at this for a minute. Here's my fantastic drawing. This is one of my best. You might call this a Picasso. All right, this is your heart. Yeah, and then this is the aorta, and these are the arteries that are leading to this guy's leg. Notice that he has Nike high tops. And then these arteries are leading to your guts. All right. Now, we talked about this, and that's why, in order to understand cardiovascular physiology, you have to understand, at least on a basic level, metabolism. Because again, as I explained to you about 1,000,000 times, and I told myself 1,000,000 times not to exaggerate. Anyways, I explained to you that metabolism dictates your physiology. So parts of the body that become more metabolically active, that is going to have a cascade of reactions on other systems of the body, and how those systems work to try to maintain homeostasis, that is physiology. Now, if dude starts running, right, he starts contracting more muscle, it is clear that he's going to need more ATP, right? Because in order to contract muscles, you need energy. Where do you get that from? You get that from ATP that we make inside muscle cells. Now, when a cell uses ATP, right, how does it use it? It breaks off that third phosphate to release the energy and heat, right? And what's left over? Well, what's left over is ADP. So if you want to continue to contract your muscles, you got to pop on that third phosphate to ADP. So that means you have to speed up metabolism. So when cells become more metabolically active, they use more ATP and they produce more ADP. And we know that the buildup of ADP causes the enzymes of metabolism within, we use the example of the legs, to go faster, to break down more glucose or fat, right? The fuel that's most readily available. And when you increase metabolism, you increase the byproducts of metabolism, which are CO2, heat, ADP, and hydrogen ions in those leg muscle cells. We also know that as you increase metabolism, you got to get more oxygen there. Well, what vessels carry the oxygenated blood? Well, it's the systemic arteries, right? So you got to get more oxygen to your legs. So we also learned that CO2, heat, ADP, and hydrogen ions, the byproducts of metabolism, cause arteries to dilate. They get bigger. Parts of the body that are not metabolically active, those arteries are going to remain constricted, so the diameter is smaller. And when you start becoming more metabolically active, the byproducts of metabolism, because you're producing more of them, in the legs, that's going to cause the arteries that supply the legs to dilate. So the arteries that are supplying the legs, they're dilated, so it's easier for blood to flow through them. It has less resistance. Parts of the body that are less metabolically active, like your guts, because they're not metabolically active, they're not going to produce the byproducts of metabolism. And the result is that those arteries that supply the non-metabolically active parts of the body are going to remain constricted. And we learned that arterial blood, so when the left ventricle contracts, arterial blood will always take the path of least resistance. What makes it the path of least resistance? The arteries are dilated. What caused the arteries to dilate? The byproducts of metabolism. Why did you produce more byproducts of metabolism in your legs when you're running? Because you need more ATP. You use ATP, so you have to pop on that third phosphate, and that speeds up metabolism. So that's how arterial blood knows where it's supposed to go. And again, to truly understand it, you have to understand metabolism. Again, metabolism dictates your physiology. I hope this helped. When you get into the advanced class, I'm going to explain to you how and why it's important that you understand this, and why turning people every 2 hours is important. And when a person is laying on their back and then you turn them over, the areas of skin that are red lacked oxygen. That's very important that you understand that. I hope this helped.